What is going on, guys? Ryan here with another episode of the Dent Digest live show. I think it's episode number 81. 81. So crazy that you poor bastards have been listening to me for 81 weeks. It's pretty bad. So as you guys see, I took a week off. I had to recoup from my 4-hour and 27-minute Black Friday show, but it was a good break. It was a good getaway, kind of relax, get ready for this week and rock and roll. So I don't know if you guys have noticed. I do need to mention this. Anson PDR has finally updated their website, and it is so much better and so much easier to navigate and see what you're buying. And just great job, guys, over there at Anson. It was nice to kind of get the call and say, hey, check this out. Tell me what you think. And it's so much better. So if you guys need to go over there and check out their new site, and, you know, tell me what you think. Tell me what you guys think of the new site. I think it was fantastic. I'm glad they did it. You know, and I hope you guys are being safe. It's crazy times out there. It's getting a little crazy around town here too. And they're starting to shut stuff down and, you know, just figuring out the way to shift and work through the times now. You know, we're finally starting to slow down a little bit, which I really don't mind. I like a little bit of a break around the holiday time, and it's cold and nobody wants to be out there and freezing. So, but look, guys, I want to get our guest on and get this thing rocking and rolling. And this guy, I've been watching him on Instagram for I don't know, a couple months, you know, and I've just kind of got intrigued because I really think that that's the way the industry's going, in that smart repair, kind of a hybrid PDR tech. You know, I know the guys in UK are really going that way, and I really think that is an avenue that's going to be big here in the next few years. So let me get him on. What's up, Albert?
What's up, guys?
It's Albert from OC Recon. And if you guys have not watched his Instagram stories, you got to get on there because he does a really good job of explaining what he's doing, how they're doing the repair, the before and after. And you're doing a really good job in there, man. So I've been enjoying it for the last couple months since I don't even know how I ran across you, but I was like, oh, okay. You know, and I was funny because I was talking to Manny before Black Friday, and I was like, I'm going to get that dude on from OC Recon. He's like, I was just at lunch with him. And I was like, yeah, I saw. So how you doing?
Doing good, man. Yeah, feeling good. Excited to be on. Yeah, just doing great.
So how are you dealing with this pandemic? Anything changed on your end? You know, what's it like over in the Cali world?
I'm sure, you know, just like everybody else, extremely rocky at the beginning, especially that first shutdown. That was scary, right? I mean, I probably had nothing coming in for 2 weeks. But after that 2-week period of that first initial shutdown, things just started picking back up again, really. And yeah, it was rocky, but I mean, overall, I would say it was still busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you know, there was changes. Of course, I had cancellations. And you get such a wide variety here at the shop where you get some people come in and they're super paranoid, you know, and they're asking, hey, you know, they're walking in with gloves and masks and, you know, making sure we're sanitizing everything. And you got people that just don't care.
Exactly. You know, it's so crazy. And I said this to my wife the other day, and I said, we got two good things on this. And here in Maryland, you pretty much have to wear a mask all the time. You know, like if you're in the city, the minute you get out of your vehicle, you have to wear a mask. It's the law. They'll write you a ticket right there.
Oh.
Like the county where my shop is the same way. It's very strict. So I said to my wife, I said, we got two good things out of this. And she's like, what's that? I said, so my sales game was on point before. Like I was a strong salesman. I did really good reading people, their body language. I said, now, man, you guys are in big trouble. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, my eye sales game is even stronger. I said, so when this thing's over, you guys better watch out. you know. The second good thing is I said, I wear a KN95. So for 10 hours a day. And I said, the other good thing is I know my lung strength is so much stronger than it ever was before because I'm only getting 2% oxygen and breathing carbon dioxide the rest of it. So, but
Yeah.
you know, it's crazy, man. It's the business is weird. Customers are weird. Are you getting a lot of customers that are not showing up for their appointments?
Yeah, I mean, especially like it's mixed, dude. You know, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's because of COVID, if that's kind of what you're asking. You know, really, I think there was only one at the very beginning during the shutdown. You know, where she didn't show up, but then she did call and reschedule, and she told me it was because of COVID. But I think the no shows are. It's I've always had some no shows here and there, and that's going that just happens.
Mine seems to be more frequent. Like I
Really?
feel like people are just, I don't know. It's just different. Business is just different. You know, I'm just accepting it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's 2020. We're going to work through it, figure it all out. And the way I look at it with businesses, I'd rather be a little more precautious, a little more, wearing the mask and wiping the cars down just to make the customer more comfortable. Even if they don't care, people are coming, you don't need that mask. I still do it just to, you know what I mean? Just to make them feel at peace that we're doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I want to get in some tools. I got some Black Friday stuff and I told the guys I would bring it on. I didn't get a whole lot. I just don't really need a whole lot. I'm actually sitting here counting my pennies and my change, waiting on that Endeavor Carbon Tech cart. I'm just sitting here stealing my kids' money, trying to say, okay, I need to get this cart, So, but I did get some stuff, and I want to get it on. And I want to give a shout out to Woody from Dead on Dent Tools. I got some Pee-wee tips, and his new packaging. This is a great little package. It's a nice little bag. He did a really good job with the new packaging, so good job. And Chris White from Kiko sent me these before Black Friday, and the mail here has been terrible. And it took almost 2.5 weeks for these to get here, but it's the new Dead Center Super Tabs. And I can't wait to try these because I use a lot of Super Tabs. And now that I look at it, I can kind of see how it's going to work. It's definitely got that raised center section.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of sizes. So I'm going to put these to work next week. Actually, Saturday, I have a pretty big smash that I know that I could use them for. But I think, they're dead center technology for the tabs by far. It's super hard to beat. Another thing I just picked up for the shop is I had an Audi that was lowered, and I'm just moving some stuff around in the shop, and I didn't have a jack handy. And I'm like, what am I thinking? You know what I mean? The car was slammed. I'm fixing the fender, and I was struggling getting the fender liner out. So my buddy's a Mac guy, and he swung by, and I'm looking on the truck, and I'm like, man, this is what I need. So it's a little R&I kit, tiny little bit driver kit, okay? And what I really liked about this, obviously comes in this little case, but what I really liked was this bit driver is like a pivot head, like a swivel head. And on the Audi, that let me get it up in there and get enough clearance to get those lower screws out of the well. So it's ratcheting. It's a really nice little kit. The bits and stuff I probably won't use, but this thing really got me out of a jam this week. So this was about $100, but I didn't even care at that point because I was struggling with the little bit driver that I had. So little stuff like this saves your time. It's got an 8 mil and a 10 mil, a 5.5 and a bunch of bits. So it's a really good set. The other thing I've been using, and I didn't think this was going to be my favorite one, the new Dent Reaper double bend Chameleon. Besides the handles, orange and black, it could be a crap tool and the handle could be orange and black, and I would love it. So, but the middle size, I thought the short one that's back here would be my go, but this middle size I bet you I've used it just this week, almost on every repair that I've had. When it first came out, I was like, man, that's kind of close to the Ultra double bend flag tool, you know, like they have, but I have that one. And this one is so much more shaved down into the shaft. And what else I like was it's really flexible. And the Ultra's super stout. You know what I mean? You really can't bend it. But this thing I had also on that Audi, a dent, gas door side, down by the wheel lip. The dent was on this side of the gas door towards the taillight. And this was the only thing I could get down inside there. I had a whale tail in there. I just couldn't get enough, you know, kick on it, enough bite. And this thing it just worked, man. I mean, this thing, I'm a huge fan of the Reaper stuff. You guys know that. I talk about it all the time. Those Chameleons have changed my repairs by far, you know, tenfold. But if you don't have that tool's maybe my money. I mean, it's this week. It's been a moneymaker. So now I do have something else. I've got a box in the mail from A1 Tools, and I don't know what's in it. I've got an idea, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to open this thing up while we're on here, and we're all going to experience whatever this is. See what we got here. So let's see here. And I'm sure it's got 3 pounds of paper in here first. So you know how that goes. That's the only good thing A1 does do is they really do package their tools, you know, super, super fancy. And maybe they loaded it on purpose with more paper than I needed. So anyway, oh, I know what this is. It's a dent slayer. Look at this. Good old Matt Boyette. Super excited about this too.
Yeah.
At first, when he showed it to me before A1 was really, you know, he showed me this tool before he brought it to A1. And I was like, I don't know about the handle. You know, now I'm kind of fixed on that ratcheting handle.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like, bro, just use it. Trust me. Trust me. You're going to love it. It's the perfect length. And it seemed like a lot of guys bought them when they first came out and love them. You don't have one, do you?
I do not have one. You know, I know Manny, I believe he put that on his top 5 a couple weeks ago, and it got me looking. But no, I think that is on the wish list, though. I got to check it out.
I'll let you know next week.
Okay.
We'll put it in the works.
Sounds good.
You know, see what's going on. Matt, thank you very much for sending this to me. I appreciate it. You know, like I said, I didn't know it was coming. We were talking and they sold so many of them. I think they sold out. And he's like, did you get one? And I was like, no, I just haven't had time. You know, we've got a lot of moving parts here. So, but I'm excited to use it. We're going to see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted next week. So I'm done. What do you got?
What do I got?
You got all kind of crazy stuff over there. I was over looking at earlier today.
Yeah, I got, you know, different stuff because obviously, like you said, kind of like a hybrid situation that I got going on over here. So some of the things I'm kind of, you know, going to bring on right now, it's not really going to be PDR tools per se.
Nothing wrong with that.
So hopefully this will help everybody. So let's see. Let's do. I kind of was talking about this earlier. This pad on Instagram, and with this pad, it's not just like your regular buffing pad. It does go on a buffer.
Is it denim? Is that like an orange peel remover pad or no?
No, it removes scratches from glass.
Really?
And they don't advertise this for automotive. This is actually for graffiti in buildings. So, you know, you go to 7-Eleven or something, you know, and you got all tagged up. They have different grade sandpapers. So these are all, you know, different sandpapers, right, to remove the scratches. And then you polish it with this. The reason why I'm bringing it up is, I'm not sure about you guys, but there's been a couple times, not very many, but there's been a couple times where my tool has slipped and maybe I scratched the door glass. This will take it out.
Really?
For sure. And I know, I mean, you don't want to tell that customer, hey, bro, I'm really sorry, tool slipped. There's a little hairline scratch in your glass. You throw this on the buffer. It comes with like some watery compound. Throw it on, buff it out, it's gone. And you can't do that with like a regular buffer, you know, like a buffing pad. You take a cutting pad, your strongest cutting pad, you take a wool pad, you take some whatever 3M cutting compound, it's not going to come out.
Now, can you use regular compound, or do you have to use the compound that comes with it?
The compound that comes with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this company is called Glass Renew. These pads are, you know, nothing's expensive. You know, probably $25 for the set, $25 for the bottle. I think they give you like a 16-ounce bottle. But for our industry, I mean, you know, how often are you scratching glass? Not very often. So,
I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah. The other cool thing too is, around here, I don't know anybody removing scratches in glass for automotive. You know, they're all tailored for buildings. So I have, you know, some of my wholesale accounts, and they got, you know, let's say I had a Mercedes last week, back glass with the defrosters. Don't know how much that glass is, but I was talking to a glass guy. He said over 1K, and it's a dealership item only. Well, that puts them in a pickle. What are they going to do? Buy the 1K glass and the labor, or are they going to call the only guy in town that can remove it? So it's a good little, you know, option you guys might want to throw in with your PDR business, is pick up these pads and start, you know, buffing some glass.
Now,
you know?
Danny D's asking, can you get them on Amazon, or do you have to get them from like a supplier?
When I initially shopped for this, I couldn't find it anywhere. There was other companies out there, but by far this company was the best. And I you know, I never really looked on Amazon because I just still order directly from Glass Renew. So I would just hit up Glass Renew.
Okay.
The prices aren't crazy high, so just hit them up. Before, initially when it first came out, it was kind of like a franchise thing, and you had to buy into the kit, which was crazy. It was like $2,500. But now I believe you don't have to buy the kit; you can just order the supplies.
Now, are you buffing that just with that pad, or are you using the sandpaper too?
So the sandpaper is only if the scratch, like if you can feel it with your fingernail. So if it's that deep, then you're going to use a sandpaper. But for like PDR stuff, when you're barely nicking it, just use the pad. Don't even get into this. Once you get into sanding the glass, that's a lot of work. You kind of don't want to do that. Stay away from it. Just stick to buffing.
How long does that pad last?
Years, because I've had that forever. It really is just the compound. The liquid compound that it comes with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, is that pad kind of harder to the feel? Is it
the pad? It's like I don't know. You know, it's like felt, really. And I don't really think so much of it is actually the pad, but I really think it's the compound that they give you. There has to be some type of acid type chemical
Yeah.
and it really melts that glass.
I know there's some hot rod guys here that buff a lot of older glass, and it's definitely got some type of a citrus or an acid to it.
Mhm.
It's some nasty stuff, but it works.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and it, I'm sure it's acidic, but at the same time, I've had it on my hands. It's not like burning my hands like it's, battery acid. I'm not a scientist, but it's doing something.
one of the guys is asking, do they work on headlights too?
No, I do headlights here too. I wouldn't use it for headlights. Just, I think it would burn it. I think it's too aggressive. Just use your regular, buffing pads, which is, and there's two things that I do for headlights. And I give the customers the option for headlights. And that is either one, we buff them, and that's going to last 6 months maybe, or we clear coat them, and that will last 3 to 5 years. So usually the buffing, that's kind of like more for your, hey, I'm just flipping the car type of situation. The individual that will, hey, I'm going to hold on to the car for another 3 to 5 years, we'll clear coat them. But as far as headlights, that's easy day stuff. That's wet sand it with 2000, get a buffing pad. This is another thing I brought on too. When I first started the industry, I was kind of, I started more like in the body shop. And in the body shop, I mean, everybody's using those huge wool pads.
Yes.
And I use those forever. It wasn't till not too long ago that I started using different sizes. Now I don't use those big pads whatsoever. All I'm using is either a 5-inch or a 3-inch, and that's really it. And I think that's another, a good game changer too, is just using these smaller pads. You
know what I have just started using is a product called 3D. Have you seen that stuff?
Yeah, I've used 3D.
I'm really shocked. I've been using their spider pad, so it almost looks like pick and pluck foam because it has cuts in it. It seems to hold more product in there, so the pad doesn't get so hot. Yeah. And I just started this week, and I'm really shocked. I'm blown away. There's like a 2-step product, 2-step thing that you can use, and it did a really good job. I was pretty shocked. One of the body shop guys were like, you got to try this, stuff's amazing. And I'm like, whatever. I've been hearing that forever. This is amazing. That's amazing. And I was like, okay, you got it, something there. You know what I mean? Something's there.
Yeah.
So one of the guys asked him, do you use a rotary or just a DA?
I use rotary. I've always used rotary. I do have a DA. And I know a lot of people use a DA, for buffing. I feel, I'm going to be honest, I feel DAs you're going to use it for 2 reasons. One, because you don't know how to use a rotary, and you are just, you don't want to hurt your car, and that's fine. Or 2, you're straight up going for that hot rod show quality. Hey man, I don't want a single swirl in this thing. I think those are for the DAs. But for your everyday stuff, for speed and time, I'm rotary. But these pads are actually, they advertise them for DA, but I can put it on rotary.
Yeah. Just smaller backing pad, obviously.
Yeah, just smaller backing pads.
What polish are you using on the daily?
DeWalt.
No, actual polish, like actual compound.
Yeah, so I've used a lot. Currently what I'm using right now, and what I haven't had a reason to leave it yet, is Sonax. So I got Sonax Cut and their Perfect Finish. Not cheap, but this will last you forever. Yeah. Especially the polish. I think these are roughly anywhere from I want to say $80 a bottle. But the polish, it goes a very long way. The cut, you will go through it faster. But with my paint repairs that I'm doing, it cuts so well after I'm done painting. And I, because after I'm done painting and I got my blend, I'll buff my blend, and it just comes out beautiful with this Sonax. I'll put my PDR light on it too. That's kind of somewhat of a trick that I've used over all these years. Is I have an old school PDR light with the fluorescent.
I saw it. I was like, damn, I haven't seen one of those in a while.
And one of the reasons why I haven't gone away from it is because it works for both. It works for my PDR and it works for my paint. So when I'm painting, I have that thing on wheels and it's rolling next to me. So I'm right-handed. So I'm spraying with my right hand. My light is to the right of me. And I'm visually looking, just as we are with PDR, right? We're looking at that light. We're looking at that orange spill, and I'm spraying, and I can see everything with that orange spill. So same thing when I'm buffing too. When I'm buffing my blend, I have my PDR light to the right of me, and I'm buffing and I'm watching that blend, and you can just see it just fade away.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what you got any other secret tricks over there you trying to put out of the bag over here or what?
Yeah. All right. So I don't want you guys to think I'm all like Mickey Mouse over here, but sometimes you just gotta make things work. This epoxy right here. I don't know. Have you seen this type of epoxy or?
What number is that? 143.
Yeah, 143.
Is that it's 1 minute?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's 1 minute.
Yeah. That stuff will stick concrete back together. You know what I mean? It's no joke.
This stuff, I've used it forever. This is originally for like bumper repairs, right? You got a tab that broke off. Yeah. You want to epoxy it back together. I get a lot of individuals and they're always just saying, hey, just super glue that back together. No, it's messy. It doesn't hold, it cracks, whatever. But what I like about this is, I'll give you an example. That red Tesla that I did over the weekend, last week, that red one, that dent where that quarter panel was, right? And where the bumper met up, it was a real struggle to get that quarter panel body line to meet with that bumper.
The edge.
That edge. Yes, that edge. I was pushing, but it was tough, and then that aluminum, you're scared that you're gonna rip a hole through it. So when I put that bumper back on, it was very tiny, but it was noticeable, that bumper was just sticking out just a little bit. And you could get your hand and you can kind of push it in and you're like, "Ooh, that looks good." You let go and it pops back out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like it's popping out like a whole, inch or nothing.
It's so small you can just barely see that the edge is just in just a little bit.
Right. So you take a little bit of epoxy, you kind of throw it in those clips that's holding that bumper. Yeah. Just throw a little dabs in there and don't put a lot because it holds really good.
You'll never get it off. The bracket will come with the bumper.
Exactly. But just put a little bit in there and it dries so fast. You just hold it, let it dry. If it's cold out, put a little blow dryer on it. Another key thing too that I do is because it dries really fast, keep some acetone or alcohol in like a rag next to you. That way when you push it in, whatever comes out, just wipe it. That way you don't have to worry about, trying to scrape it off after it dries.
I've seen guys kind of put that on a piece of cardboard and just take an acid brush and just get it in that bracket just a little bit so there was no ooze. But okay. I don't know, sometimes you got to do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it if they don't want to do, more of a collision repair.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of, why I'm really here. Right. I mean, I'm not getting a lot of insurance jobs. I get these customers that are, these jobs are under $1,000. They don't want to go through insurance. They want to pay out of pocket. And I tell them straight up from the beginning, okay, well, if this is your budget, this is what we can do for you. You know, you don't want to buy that $80 molding clip, you know, from the dealership. Okay, you know, we'll throw a little bit of epoxy on it. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this? I know you said you were in the body shop industry for a little bit. Let's kind of get you started, see what, where you started.
Um, so right after high school, did the whole, hey, let's go to college thing. Didn't work out, didn't like it. Kept working on cars. Said, hey, let's just go this route. Went to Wildtech, graduated, and then I worked at CarMax. CarMax was great because if you're just starting out, I mean, you got a sea of cars to practice on.
Yeah.
And if you mess up, I mean, somebody else will fix it or you just refix it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not, you don't got an angry customer yelling at you, you know? So that was great. So after that, I mean, I went to CarMax. I was in their paint and body department. I was working in their body department, started painting part-time at night. My manager said, hey, we're looking for a PDR tech. We'll send you to school. At first, I was like, nah, I want to be a full-time painter. And he kind of was like, no, trust me. You want to be a PDR tech. He goes, you'll like it. So I said, look, as long as I go to school and I come back, I don't like it, you'll let me go back to the paint department. He said, yeah, no problem. You come back, you don't like it, you can go back to paint. I came back, I loved it. I didn't want to go back to paint. I was like, this is it, you know? I mean, no chemicals, no mess, no powder everywhere, no primer everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not smelling things. And I was like, dude, just, it was key. It was beautiful. So, and then in 2008, you know, the economy wasn't doing so good. So we all got laid off.
I remember that because I was a CarMax inventory manager.
Oh, yeah.
And then how I found out about PDR was I saw these little guys running around fixing cars. And one day, a good friend of mine, Dave, you know, we've been friends 30 years now. And he's like, bro, we're making so much money. So when I got a job back with Dent Wizard, when I left CarMax and was working for Dent Wizard put me back in the CarMax as a vendor. And then I remember them hiring all the in-house dent guys, kicking Dent Wizard out. They were like, we got this. And then they changed their whole plan again and laid all you guys off, and we came back. So I remember those. I remember exactly, you know, but keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, this is great. So, you know, when I got laid off, I feel anytime something big has happened in my life, something bad has happened. But, you know, one door closes, one door opens, right?
Yeah.
And actually, right before I got laid off from CarMax, I just purchased a home. So purchased a home, and 3 weeks later, before I even have my first house payment, I get laid off. Now I don't know what to do. I almost went to work for Dent Wizard. I filled out the application. They hit me up. Of course, they needed people because they just got the big CarMax account. But I didn't want to do that. You know, I was like, no, let me figure something else out. I had a friend, and he told me what he was doing. He was doing headlights. He was going around doing headlights at dealerships, and he said, hey, I got a dealership that's looking for a PDR tech. And that's kind of when OC Recon started. I was like, all right, well, I had an Acura TL at the time. I took the back seats out and threw all my PDR tools in the trunk and in the back seat, made a little toolbox platform thing and drove around, and I was doing PDR. And then it started to grow from there as far as, you know, doing wheel repairs, paint repairs, things of that nature. So it just kind of grew from there. You know, I was mobile. I was going around. I had friends still in CarMax, so I was able to go back to CarMax as a vendor. Even though Dent Wizard had all the production, um, I had 4 satellite stores, and we had a crew. I think I had 9 guys. We had 4 different locations down here, and we were doing everything for them. We were doing details, you know, paint, wheels, windshields, interior repairs, PDR, all of it. And that was a good run. And then in 16, right when I was about to have my firstborn, Carmex said, "Hey, we don't need you anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And it was like straight out like, we don't need you by Friday. And so I had to tell my crew like, "Hey, that's it. You know, sorry guys." So, you know, but we worked around it. We found more accounts and, you know, got through that situation.
What'd you learn out of that?
Don't put all my eggs in one basket.
I say it all the time. I say it all. I was the same way. Me and you were really close on, you know, on the life plan of PDR. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I sat back and I tell myself all the time, I'll never do it again.
No.
I will fix less cars, be less busy, but that peace of mind, you know, the money's great when you're in there and you're like, man, we're doing so great, you know. But I remember the manager coming to me and saying, just giving you a heads up, tomorrow's your last day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Yeah, we just signed a deal with the Wiz. And I'm like, all right. So today we're cashing out. Today we are making some money. You know, so, but yeah, you know, it's it, man. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I tell guys that all the time. You know, I'll get a call and I'm like, dude, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, and you don't when you do have all your eggs in one basket, you do kind of feel like you're walking on eggshells, you know. And that's how I felt the whole time. You know, hey, you don't make anybody upset. Don't, you know, you gotta, you know, make sure everybody's happy, which is pretty much your one customer.
Yeah.
But now, you know, I got wholesale accounts, and I got, you know, the general public coming in. You know, I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
It feels, like you said, it feels comfortable.
It's a weight off of your shoulders. You don't realize it until you've been through it. You know, you kind of learn to diversify yourself, you know, to make it to where you're not dependent all on this or not dependent all on that. And it's hard, believe me. You know, like I said, it is hard to give that up, but I don't know. It does feel better.
Yeah.
You know.
So
you're in that kind of, and like I said in the intro, you're that kind of hybrid tech. And I really feel, I've been telling my wife, you know, this is the direction that this is going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're doing larger repairs.
Yeah.
More people, they don't want to make claims. And, you know, you just need one paint booth, one guy that knows how to do PDR or can do PDR kind of, you can do PDR and body work, you know, kind of a start to finish guy. But I'm really telling you, that's the way I think this industry is going. You know what I mean? I think there'll still be paintless dent repair guys.
Right.
But I think that's another avenue of I call it the smart repair system. You know,
Right.
the quick little, you're not fixing rad supports, you're doing small repairs. When do you get to the point to say, yeah, that's definitely too large for me? How do you classify that?
Typically, if it's more than 2 panels, you know, if I have to paint more than 2 panels, I don't like doing it. I don't want to do it. Yeah, and I think the customers will decide too, you know, when they start realizing how much it's going to be. And that's kind of what I was, you know, saying earlier, you know, typically about under 1,000. Anything over that, they're just kind of like, I'm just going to go through insurance type of thing. And then, once it goes to insurance, and instead of painting, a quarter panel, they're painting the whole side of the car.
Mhm. Do you
I
get
think,
a lot of people that'll get that estimate, take the check, and then come back to you and say, I only want to do this?
no, I don't think so. Um, I really, I don't. Um, typically the customers that come in and they do have an insurance claim, they'll just follow through, and we'll just go through with the insurance claim. Yeah.
So you're fixing, are you doing wheels? Obviously, I've seen you do a ton of Tesla's wheels. You're doing headlights, you're doing bumpers and dent repair stuff. What else? What other services are you offering?
Um, I don't push it too much, but we can do interior repairs. We can, we are doing details. Um, Select customers will do some wrapping. We don't do whole vehicles, but maybe some chrome deletes. Um, but that's kind of like a select few, because I don't feel totally comfortable with it
Yeah.
yet. So it's kind of like, hey, a select few will do things like that. But I would say mainly just really just PDR and smart repairs, PDR and paint. That's the bulk of our work right now.
And you have a shop in Orange County, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So we're in yeah, Orange County. We're in Buena Park, and it is kind of on the auto mall over here, right off the 5 and the 91 freeway.
How long have you been there?
A little over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, were you mainly mobile before then? And then you
Yeah.
converted to the shop? How's your transition from that going?
Um, Good. It, I mean, it feels better,
Yeah.
overhead. Yeah, there's an overhead, but it feels great, to have your own shop, to have all your tools here, to not have to drive around town. Um, it's really great, to have the customers walk in, um, to have them make the appointments and just show up. And it's just nothing like it. When we were doing mobile, I felt like I was always leaving tools somewhere. I felt like the lighting just wasn't right. I couldn't see certain things. Um, I didn't have the right tool. I need to go drive somewhere and grab the right tool. Now it's just everything's here. Don't really have much of a worry to, you know, and you can work all night.
Yeah.
There's a job, there's a deadline. Hey, I'm I'm gonna work till midnight. I'm gonna be here till 2 in the morning. Um, 24-hour shift. I mean, it's been done. It Nobody's kicking you out. The dealership's not closing, telling you, hey, we're turning off the lights. You got to go. Or the customer, saying, hey, I got a hair appointment at 5. But what do you mean you're still working on this thing? So that's another benefit.
And we said this earlier. The phone's not ringing. You're not dealing with emails. I feel like you're more zoned in. I almost feel like the customer is getting a better repair.
Oh yeah,
You're comfortable.
yeah, so comfortable. I agree right with you for sure. Yeah.
Do you have any employees, or is it just you, or what's your situation there?
So before the pandemic, I had one at the shop. When we're mobile, yeah, I mean, at that one time I had 9, but we got to scale it down. The work just wasn't there. But during the pandemic, I had one. I told him, sorry, man, but nothing's coming in. I can barely, keep the doors open right now. And right now, it's just me. I do have 2 interns that are interested in what I have here. And that was kind of a cool little thing where he's a friend, and he showed up and he just said, hey, I don't have any work. I'm at home. I'm not doing anything. I like what you do. He goes, maybe one day I'll come in and just hang out with you. And I just laughed and I said, yeah, man, come hang out. Like, my door's open. And he's been showing up every day with his buddy, and they're learning. They're helping me out. I mean, they're not employees, but you know, it's somebody to talk to, somebody to, you know, an extra hand. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Which, hey, it may work out. You know, you never know. It may just turn into, hey, you know, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting that test drive is what's going on. You're getting that test drive of, okay, this guy's a slacker. This guy, I think, can do this. You know, where do you see the future of your company? What's your dream?
Right now, I'm feeling really comfortable with where we're at. If I was to say in the near future or in the future, probably start picking up maybe go back into a little bit more mobile. Maybe picking up you know, a transit or something, and trying to get, you know, another crew out there mobily, you know, going out there picking up some accounts for the small things, you know, obviously, and try to do more of the bigger work here. Yeah.
Now, do you offer like a pickup and drop off service there, or are they just mainly dropping?
Certain customers, yeah, I will. Especially my wholesale accounts. You know, the wholesale accounts, we have a good communication. Sometimes I'll let them know, hey man, I'm just way too busy. I'm sorry. You know, and if you really, really need it that bad, I'll try to swing it, or maybe you can drop it off for me.
Yeah.
But you know, my regular walk-in customers, no, they're all just dropping it off. But other cool thing is I do have a drop box here. So, you know, they say, hey, I work at 7 in the morning type of thing. I tell them, well, hey, I have a drop box. You're more than welcome to lock the car, park underneath the camera, you know, let me know, text me when you drop it off, and I'll check the cameras, make sure we're all good, and I'll start work on it when I get there. So that works out pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I saw today you were doing one of your stories. Nice little like pull bar, like a almost like a frame machine arm. You're obviously using that. Are you using that with glue, or are you actually welding tabs? What are you using that for? Is it just for glue?
Just for glue. Yeah, that thing. It is. It's a frame machine. You know, it's a power post, and you're gonna see that in, you know, your traditional auto body shops. I picked that thing up dirt cheap on Craigslist, cleaned it up, put new hydraulic pump pedal in it, new oil, just kind of cleaned it up. Now, yeah, I'm using it for big PDR pools, and there is one on Instagram where it was an insurance job. They wanted to cut out a quarter panel on a Model 3, and I just pulled that thing with glue tabs, was hitting that buckle down, and pulled that out not very nicely. I don't use it all the time, obviously, but when I do use it, yeah, that comes in handy for sure.
What's your go-to tabs and glue?
For that type of work,
Yeah.
for that big work, I'm doing Cam Auto.
Okay.
So Cam Auto, this is one of their tabs.
3D. Yeah, that's a great tab.
Yeah. And I just, you know, throw a screwdriver, any, you know, piece of metal through there, get the hooks on it, and pull it with that power post, and that works great. There's different sizes. There's just one of them. Yeah. And then also, I can't remember. I don't know where it's at. But the Kikos too. The long Kikos.
Centipedes.
Yes, the centipedes. I'm using that as well.
What's your everyday glue besides Cam Auto?
Tab weld.
See, I can't get down with the tab weld.
Really?
Doesn't work here. For me,
yeah.
It stayed too elastic for me.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm a Cactus Green guy.
Okay.
you know, just snapping away. I mean, the slime, I feel like the Carbon Tech slime glue is really close to tab weld
Okay.
in the pulls. But yeah, I'm a Cactus Green yank away. Tab weld just never. And there's guys here locally that like tab weld. For me, it didn't work.
Yeah. It's
We're
worth.
all different. It's so crazy, you know.
Yeah,
We have
and
local guys that are using different tabs, that are using the pink burrow tabs, and I'm like, I can't use them at all. You know what I mean? It just
is
doesn't
that,
work. Yeah.
dude, I love these. That's another reason why I have it right here, is because I feel like these don't get the recognition. These will give you a nice pop. I mean, if you're looking for that nice little, you know, they pop. And I
Another
like,
tab you should look into is a Cam Auto tab. I think they're now green, but they were gray. And it's got two options. You can either put a stud in there for a slide hammer, or you can put the hoop. And they're about $90. They're not real expensive. It comes in a whole pack. And there's one tab in there I use all the time, and it's like an L. And what it does works great for is when you get that whack right on like the roof rail, right at the roof molding.
yeah,
That tab will sit down in there, and you'll pull that edge. That tab is fantastic.
okay.
So I think he went from gray, and now they're like a neon green, but they are a really, really good tab.
Okay.
And you'll be able to use it with the frame machine. You know, gives you that option.
Yeah. I wanted to show what I was using before the frame machine. So before the frame machine, obviously this doesn't, you know, work as good, but dude, just Harbor Freight on the back of my truck in the tow hitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I liked about this one was the fact that you can kind of move it up and down. I mean, it doesn't give you that much, but it's better than just being fixed.
And what were you pulling your truck forward to pull?
No. I'm putting a ratchet on it.
Oh, okay.
Put a ratchet on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you park your truck to the center of whatever, the quarter panel, whatever you're pulling, right? And you can align it. You know, obviously, like I said here, but then also you could flip it. You know, so you got a good foot.
Yeah.
You know, up and down of the angle you want to pull, and then just keep your ratchet on there. Get a good tension, hit your buckles down, and it'll pull really good.
It's a good idea.
And this is cheap. Harbor Freight, you know, this Harbor Freight, I don't know, $200 or less.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Certainly for the mobile guys, you know.
Yeah.
And Charles has one now that goes into the trailer hitch that I've actually looked at. And his stuff, I met Charles. I remember the first time he came to MT, and it was like before the show opened, and I'm watching this video, and he's got like a Toyota Corolla pulled up, and you see him gluing these tabs on the rad support, and I'm like, you know, it's me and Chad from Endeavor Dentals, and we're just looking and watching this guy. And then he pulls a forklift over and hooks it up and lifts the car off the ground, and Chad's like, something up with this dude. You know, it was the first year he was there.
Yeah.
And then we saw him later that night at the bar, and we were talking, and let me tell you, that dude, he's on a whole nother planet, because some of his products, I mean, you haven't even seen the good stuff yet. You know, he's got a lot of new stuff coming out this year that you're like, how do you come up with this stuff? You know what I mean? And that's one good thing about our industry is there's a lot of new products coming out that just make your life easier.
Yeah. I really do feel, I mean, you're right. I mean, I feel like there's been some crazy amount of new tools coming out, just breaking the mold of a lot of things from the past.
Yeah.
I mean, from the past, I mean, when I started, it was just, hey, some metal rods, right? Now, there's, and kind of like what you pointed out earlier too, is we are seeing some gnarly repairs. I mean, it's not just door dings anymore. I mean, this is some like, you got to be kidding me. I thought you were going to replace that fender, that door.
Yeah.
And then they're just glassing it. And I'm like, what? And these tools are amazing. They're getting
I
us
mean,
that.
this week I looked at Shane, and Shane's my new guy. He's been with me 2 years, and he's green, but he's getting it. Like now he's just finally getting over that hump and figuring it out. And I spent 8 hours on an Audi fender, 8 hours. And I sat back the next morning. I came in because I kind of broke it up in between 2 days.
Okay.
Because I thought I would be done in one day. And I came in, I looked at Shane, and I was like, why in the hell do I take on stuff like this? And he goes, I don't know. You're the idiot in town. I was like, you're right. I am the idiot in town, you know? But, and that's the thing. I mean, I just looked at Bryce Kelly's repair on that Ford Transit rear door, and I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like, I can't believe I would never take that on. You know what I mean? But that's where we are in this industry. You know, we're at that point of you're not really getting a whole lot of these.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting big smashes, cars that are taking 5 or 6 hours.
Mm.
The only good thing is I feel like the market standard on pricing is definitely, everybody seems like they're getting on the same page, which is really up. Do you use Mobile Tech RX?
No, I don't. I've tried, and it's a great system. It just didn't fit for what I do, you know. I just still in that way, if I like going out there and just giving it my eye and looking at it and giving it, you know, my estimate that way. And I know other people that use it, and I still feel that my estimate and their estimate is very close, you know. I think if I was doing a lot more insurance type of work, you know, that definitely would be key.
That's what really pushed me. You know, I was old school. I wrote everything down.
Yeah.
And I rarely get questioned here from the insurance company. They get the breakdown. You know, I remember giving them the hail sheets and look like a dot matrix. You know what I mean? Look like an old school test. You were just filling in the circles, and so confusing. And the estimators would get pissed because they could barely read it and call you 12 times. And as soon as I went to Mobile Tech RX, here you go.
Yeah.
No questions asked, you know. But I know the feeling too. You know, there's a lot of guys that are like, I can't believe you don't use Price of Dent all the time. And I'm like, I've been doing this a long time. I know what it costs to do it at the body shop.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good idea, even without doing Price of Dent, where I am pricing stuff.
Yeah.
Just not pricing an Audi fender that took me 8 hours because I lost my ass on that one. But, you know, it happens, dude. You know, it happens.
Yeah.
So what tools are on your wish list in the PDR world, or not even PDR, even on any of your smart repairs? What do you sit back and you're like, I need to pick those up?
Smart repairs. I feel like it's going to start going to UV.
100%.
Yeah. And I'm really interested to start using some UV stuff. And I think even for PDR guys, this is probably going to be pretty cool. And I think it's going to come out anytime now. And I've used some samples in the past, and it's clear coat that you can dry with the UV light.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's cool about that is you get a PDR with a touch-up. So if you have that touch-up, you know, here I can make my own color. But let's just say, you know, you got your customer and you know, it has whatever, a blue car, and, you know, there's a scratch with a dent in it, right? All right, they show up with their blue touch-up. You touch it up with the blue, fill it in with some UV clear, you could dry it within seconds.
Yep.
Now you can do a wet sand buff within seconds and get that super smooth. Where I can't do that yet here because my clear takes 24 hours to for a touch up to dry. So I tell my customers, look, if you really, really want this to look the best, I will touch it up. Come back to me, tomorrow or whenever you have time. We'll do another wet sand buff, and it will look a lot better.
What product are you using there? Paint wise.
Sherwin-Williams.
Okay. Okay. Now, are you guys waterborne there or still solvent?
No, we got waterborne. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the UV stuff was cool. I did a training with Kiko and Keystone. And when they were first starting to push the glue pull the paint systems to the body shops.
Yeah.
And one of their thing was the UV primers and, all that stuff. And that was the first time I really experienced it. And I was like, man, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, you have the dry time's gone.
Yes.
It's all time savings.
Yeah. There's a guy I follow on, IG, is Damage Undone Damage Undone, Wayne, and he's over there, in England or Britain or somewhere, right? And he's using a lot of UV. And when I watch his videos, I mean, he's just flying through these smart repairs. And I sit here and I'm watching paint dry and I'm like, man. Yeah. So I'm waiting for it to roll out over here for sure.
Yeah. The bad part with it is it's expensive, but
yes,
it's your time, dude.
Yeah. I think it'll weigh out, especially as things, just like anything, the longer it's going to be out, those UV lights, the price will come down.
Yeah.
But those UV lights are crazy expensive.
Yeah. So as in PDR tools, what's your new, I think I need to buy?
I'm nothing really right now is like I need it, but I probably would say, I don't even know the name of it, but I know Manny talks about it. It's a metal bracket.
The Revolution.
Yeah.
Revolution. Yeah. It's a fantastic tool.
Just to get that right leverage, I probably would say that would probably be one of my next PDR purchases, would probably be that. Yeah.
It's one of those tools that you buy, you don't use all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have it, you're like, God damn, this thing is just, I just use it I use it a lot we were talking about doing a lot of Chevrolets.
Yeah.
And I use them a lot on Silverado fenders. And what I do is I know exactly how to build it. I use both pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Headlights out of it. You're pulling the black screw and the silver screw to the rad support and just running them in, and you've got all the leverage in the world to crank on a fender on a Silverado or a Tahoe, and it works fantastic. So it was a great idea. That was my thing. I used to stack 2x4s and 4x4s in there to get leverage, and you're always slipping, and you're like, God, But that tool is fantastic.
That's where I'm at. I got the sandbag and maybe a 2x4. I actually have a chop saw here, just in case I need the right size 2x4. I'll cut it up real quick. But maybe we'll get rid of that and get some. We'll get the declaration over here.
Yeah, for me, I was like, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. And one thing I meant to mention earlier, I want to personally thank everyone that purchased the shut-ups here on Black Friday. And I talked to Mark today, and obviously they're sold out until the first of the year. But I wanted to thank you guys. It was cool to see it kind of spark back up. It kind of died down a little bit and kind of boosted back up. So I appreciate it. And if you guys aren't following him on Instagram, get on there, because like I said before, you do a really good job, dude. You really just explaining what you're doing, and it's easy to follow. So, keep doing what you're doing. It's nice to, like I said, I see the future, and you're in that path of how I think some of this industry is going to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Ryan. Greatly do.
Put a tip out there for any of these new guys, something in business on or work wise. Just give them a little knowledge off the quick.
Make friends out there for sure. You know, you're out there mobily, you're alone, and you know, at the beginning, you need somebody to have your back. You know, you need somebody to if you're second guessing something, you know, call them, message them, be like, hey man, I don't know, this one's a little bit different for me today. You know, help me out here. And I'm here for you guys too on that. Honestly, DM me, you know, text me, whatever. I'm here. You know, I really don't mind answering some questions, some emails, or you know, a phone call. That would be one thing. The other thing too, don't let the customer make your prices. Don't you stick to your guns on your price. And so many times, I'm sure with everybody, can you do it for cheaper? Can you do it for cheaper? Just stick to your guns. Tell them no. You know, you're worth it, and you'll realize that too as you new guys start moving along. You'll realize what you guys are worth, and you guys won't be giving discounts. Don't do it.
And it's you get to that point to where you have to stand. I always say you're standing on your heels. And what I mean by that is the customer's kind of challenging you a little bit. Hey, you know, can you do a little better? And you're like, no, you're going to walk away from this job for $80. Yeah. You know, and for me, I've realized in business, and I want you guys to kind of put this in perspective. Business now is 10 times harder than it ever was. And what I mean by that is back in the day, business, how'd you get a hold of a business? You called them, got on the phone. Hey, you know, whatever. Now you have phone, text message, email, Instagram message, Facebook message, Twitter message, Snapchat message, whatever else, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, you're trying to juggle all these things, right? And one thing I've learned, and this week kind of really put it in perspective, you know, when I first started, and we're all chasing work. You know, I don't want to sit back and say I don't appreciate the work that I get, but everybody's out there. It's a weird year, not even just this year, and everybody's trying to make a buck, and some days you're slower. Don't feel overwhelmed on those ways of outlet. And it happened to me. You know, I had a lady message me. I put the phone down on the weekend. I try to spend the time with the family. I used to let it run my life. I used to let it Sunday night at 7:00. I'm answering the phone. Hey, RPS, how can I help you? I put it down now. You know, that's my time. And I had a message through Instagram, and it came in there like the request file that I don't always check on Instagram messages. 7:30 on a Sunday. I respond. I find it Tuesday morning at 8:00 in the morning, and I respond quickly. Say, hey, sorry for the delay, blah, blah, blah. I've already got an appointment with another company. Don't feel the defeat. Don't let that defeat you. If there's a company out there, and I'm not calling anybody out, you know, that is answering those requests on Sunday, hey, good for them, you know, but don't feel overwhelmed. I got to answer this. I got to answer that. Get to it as you can and just respond the most professional way you can respond.
Yeah.
Because I used to get overwhelmed. I'm like, man, I can't even keep up with, you know, this message on here and this message on here. And there are options to generate them all to one source. But, you know, don't get overwhelmed and don't feel the defeat of I just lost that job because I didn't answer the call on Sunday at 7:30.
Yeah.
Wasn't your customer.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I first signed up for Yelp, my times were low. I mean, my response times on Yelp were like 5 minutes, you know, and I couldn't do it anymore. You know, it went up to like 2 days. I think I got it back down to 5 hours now, but I'm okay with 5 hours. That's fine. You know, you'll get to it. You'll respond. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
And if they want you that bad and you know what you can do, it is what it is, man. You know, it's just real life. And we're in crazy times right now. You know what I mean? Nobody's on their A game. I don't care who you are. If you sit back and tell me your life has not changed one bit since this crazy pandemic, you're lying.
Yeah.
You know, but no, man, how can people find you if they don't know?
So obviously, you know, IG, Instagram, that's definitely going to be my most where I'm putting all my videos and before and afters. You know, sometimes I like to make crazy videos, and you know, sometimes I go on little rants. So maybe you guys will get a kick out of those videos. Um, you know, also Facebook, I'm on there a little bit, not too much.
It's all you
Website.
Cali guys. Manny's the same way. Manny's not much on Facebook, and I'm like, why? I don't know. I just like Instagram.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Yeah, you know, website ocrecon.com. I also have ocrecon.net that you can make an appointments on .net. So I got 2 out there, and yeah, or just come on to the shop. Plain and simple. Come on down. You know, we're over here in Buena Park. You can easily find us on Google Maps, looking for an estimate, or you guys just want to come hang out with me. That's cool too. You know, just like Manny, you know, showing up for lunch. That's cool. Come hang out. I'll be more than welcome to open my door.
That is cool. You know, we are lucky in our industry that even if we're in the same area and we're competitors, you can have that relationship, you know, and that the industry's changed. It was never like that before.
Yeah, I remember running to those individuals in the past, and I remember telling myself, I don't want to be like that. Like, I just, you know what? We're all cool. Like, share your secrets. I'll share my secrets. It's not even a secret. I'll share whatever I got.
Yeah.
Ask me a question. For sure.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for
You know,
having me.
like I said, I've been watching your stuff for some time. So it was just funny that Manny went to lunch with you, and I was like, that guy's on my hit list. You know, and
Yeah.
he's on because I write everything down. Guys that I see that I'm like, okay, that are kind of planned on coming on, and it was just funny. I was like, he's like, really? He's a great guy. I'm like, you know, we've never talked before. I just reached out, was like, hey, you know, this is what's going on. Guys like to hear different stories, and I thought your kind of hybrid repairs, it was perfect.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on. One of the guys asking, are you going to MTE?
Florida, that one, no. I think next time it rolls around to Vegas, yes, I will. I'll go to the Vegas one for sure. You know, for us, that's a short drive, somewhat, but you know, yeah, I'll make the Vegas one. I got 2 little ones at home. You know, I got my girlfriend at home. Hi, Candace, I love you. She didn't think I was gonna say anything about her tonight, but
I'm not going to Orlando either. You
yeah,
know, it's it'll be Vegas will probably be the next one for me. So I love going to Orlando, but just with everything going on, there's just for me, it's not going to work. And I hope it goes on. I really do for those guys from MTE, you know, trying to make it through. And I said, it's just crazy times, dude,
yeah.
you know, but it's time to get rolling.
Cool.
You guys wash your damn hands. I will see you next week. Keep it real. And thanks for watching. It was another good one. And you guys have a great evening. See you
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.